Imagine this: you are standing on the vast African savanna, hundreds of thousands of years ago. No cities, no roads, no schools, no writing. Only wine, fire, and danger. A group of ancient humans gathers around a campfire. They look at one another, they point, they make short sounds, calls, cries, just enough to survive. But then, somewhere in that endless stretch of time, something extraordinary happened. Language was born. And with that single transformation, human history changed forever. Because of language, we can share ideas, tell stories about the past, imagine the future, pass knowledge across hundreds of generations, and build entire civilizations. Yet one question still echoes through time. How did it all begin? Who was the first person to speak? What was the very first word in human history? And what transformed us into the only species on Earth capable of talking about dragons, tomorrow, and things that have never existed at all? This is one of science's greatest mysteries, because language leaves no fossils. A sound disappears the moment it is spoken, yet clues remain. They are hidden in the bones of our ancestors, in the throat, in the ear, in the brain, and in the very way you are listening to me right now. Let's uncover the story. For millions of years, our ancestors wandered the earth, they communicated. But they did not truly speak. Look at our closest relatives today. Chimpanzees, bonobos, and gorillas. They call out, they gesture, they express fear, anger, excitement, and affection. They can warn others, danger, that they cannot say. Yesterday, there was a leopard on the other side of the forest. Tomorrow we should take a different route. Human language is more than communication. It allows us to travel through the mind, to talk about invisible things, to discuss events that have not happened yet, to describe worlds that exist only in imagination. So how did this incredible leap occur? Not in a single day. There was no magical aha moment. Language evolved little by little. Across thousands of generations, one sound, one gesture, one tiny meaning at a time. But what drove that evolution? The answer was survival. Lions, leopards, scarce food. To stay alive, our ancestors had to cooperate, and the deeper the cooperation became, the more sophisticated communication needed to be. If communication provided such a huge advantage, why are we the only species with language? The answer begins with the brain. Our brains are not simply larger. They are capable of imagination, long-term planning, and abstract thought. But a powerful brain alone is not enough. So what else was required? One surprising theory suggests that language may have begun with the hands. During a hunt, silence was essential. Gestures became powerful tools, pointing toward prey, signaling others to stop, warning of danger. Another theory proposes something entirely different. Perhaps language emerged from music, from rhythm, melody, repeated vocal calls. These sounds helped unite groups and create a sense of belonging. Even today, language still carries traces of music, intonation, rhythm, pitch. A sentence can completely change its meaning simply because of the way it is spoken. Whether language began with gestures or with song, the human body still had to undergo a remarkable transformation before speech became possible. The secret may lie in a tiny bone called the hyoid bone. It is unlike any other bone in the body. It is not directly connected to any other bone. Small, fragile, easy to break, yet it may have changed everything. In Australopithecus, an ancestor that lived millions of years ago, the hyoid bone looked much like that of a chimpanzee. Complex speech was likely impossible, but when the genus Homo appeared, things began to change. The bone evolved, slowly, gradually, becoming more and more like our own. And that was only part of the story. Imagine this. 40,000 years ago, we were not alone. Another human species shared the world with us. The Neanderthals. They were not the primitive brutes people once imagined. They crafted sophisticated tools, cared for injured members of their groups, buried their dead, used pigments, wore ornaments. And their hyoid bone, it was remarkably similar to ours. The structure of their ears also appears capable of distinguishing subtle speech sounds, such as T, K, S, and F. What does this suggest? We were not the first humans to speak, and perhaps not the only ones. Picture a cold evening beside a fire. A Neanderthal parent tells a child about a recent hunt. That conversation may have truly happened thousands of generations ago. The moment language emerged, something unprecedented happened. Information could travel without people moving. One hunter spots a large herd. The entire group knows immediately. One person discovers a better way to make a spear. That knowledge no longer dies with its creator. Knowledge began to accumulate. Each generation learned from the one before it. Then passed that knowledge on, again, and again, and again. And then humanity gained its greatest superpower, storytelling. Through stories, we share emotions, values, beliefs, experiences. Stories create myths, culture, identity, a sense of us. This was not the power of muscle, it was the power of ideas. Other species dominate through claws. Through speed, through size, humans took a different path. We conquered through stories. Language transformed 20 separate individuals into a single coordinated group. People could plan, cooperate, build. Small bands became villages. Villages became cities. Cities became nations. And nations became civilizations. All of it emerged from one extraordinary ability. The ability to turn thoughts into sounds and share them with others. We will probably never know. The first word may have been a warning. It may have been a call to a child, or perhaps it was only a simple sound. But maybe the first word is not what matters most. What matters is the journey. Hundreds of thousands of years of tiny changes, accumulating, building, growing, until cries became language. And language became civilization. Right now, as you listen to my voice, dozens of muscles in your throat are capable of working together with extraordinary precision. Your brain is transforming vibrations in the air into meaning, emotion, images, ideas. It feels so ordinary that we rarely stop to think about it. Yet it is the result of millions of years of evolution. From calls across the African savanna, to stories shared around ancient fires, to poetry, music, science, and even the video you are watching right now. All of it began when our ancestors learned how to share their thoughts. We do not know who spoke the first sentence. We do not know exactly when it happened, but we do know one thing. That moment changed the world forever. And every word you speak today is an echo of that extraordinary revolution.